Hello, hello. Welcome to Little Wins. Little Wins is my channel. I'm Tony. If you don't know, just a little quick background. You can look at the previous videos, but I suffer from Parkinson's disease and as well as cervical dystonia. So I've been trying to give information of my process, my real life, the raw, unfiltered, unedited truth of what it is. And today has been a little bit, it took a little bit for me to make today with a realization of some medication that I needed. And in my previous videos, we had talked about some of the medication that I'm on. So I'm going to talk about those medications now and what changed for today. For today, I have I recently had decreased my carbidopa levodopa, and the doctor decreased it. My neurologist decreased that because we wanted to see if it was causing me to be more exhausted and sleep more. We've raised it back up again today because that is not the case. Now, when I was taking the higher dose of the carbidopa levodopa prior, I was able to have, I didn't feel like my tremor in my head, neck was as violent, and I didn't feel like I jerked as much as my body jerks now. So hopefully in the next little bit it will raise up, it will kick in, and it will calm down again a little bit, because I did have a little bit, I did have a little bit of relief prior with that medication at the higher dose. So that is really good news, because something that I know seemed to help a little bit. I just, like I said, I didn't feel as things were as violent as they are. There might have been a decrease in throwing my arms. I think there was a decrease in that I have seen lately become more increased. So that's something I'm looking forward to. But on the other side, I thought I would share what this was, because it's something brand new to me. I mean, I've never heard of the name of it before. Perhaps you have, but I have, a sleep doctor as well coming up, but my neurologist already, and that's to probably address some apnea for sure. I've always been a hardcore snorer. I can clear out a house, and I just tell people ahead of time I'm going to snore, and the more tired I am, the louder it's going to be. So my kids can hear me upstairs snoring downstairs, so that's how it is. But my sleep specialist is for more than that. So I want to read this so I have the information for you. So it's something that my doctor is sure, and I'm just taking this from Google, the AI overview, just gathering all the information. I'm not telling you that it is the gospel information. It is the perfect information. You can we all know how to use Google, so we can look at that more ourselves. I'm just trying to give also you, but also me, some understanding of this, because it is, I'll discuss why afters, but it has changed a few things for me that I have to look at things in a little different way. But it's called REM Sleep Behavior Disorder, or RBD. And it is a parasomnial where the normal paralysis that occurs during REM sleep is disrupted, allowing individuals to physically act out their dreams, often with movements that may seem violent or aggressive. It is a condition where the brain doesn't shut off your muscle movement during REM sleep, leading individuals to act out their dreams with violent actions like punching, kicking, jumping out of bed. Individuals with RBD may vocalize, talk, or perform complex movements during their sleep, often related to the content of their dreams. And it can be dangerous, putting the individual or their bed partner. I sleep all by myself. With my cats, I might hurt the cats. But it can put the individual or their bed partner at risk during their sleep. So they do a sleep study to figure that out. It can be linked to neurological diseases like Parkinson's disease, multiple system atrophy, or dementia with Lewy bodies. So those are some, that is what the doctor is very sure is wrong with me. And as I said in an earlier video, multiple symptoms of my Parkinson's was happening before my tremor, before my niece pointed it out to me. Now, my kids have pointed it out to me, but we didn't really point it to being a reason. It was something to ask the doctor about on my physical, but we didn't really get involved with it at the moment. But my niece was very adamant when she told me I needed to see a neurologist. But like I said, I had been going through different issues for quite some time before I was diagnosed. And this sleep was happening, these problems in my sleep, and I'll go over with you what I had. They started about, I'd say, close to 2 years prior to my diagnosis. So, and the reason why I want to make this important, I had balance problems. I was falling. I had gastrointestinal problems, and I had these sleep disturbances. And even though I had seen doctors, it wasn't cohesively put together that, hey, this might be an issue. It wasn't until a tremor occurred that they go back and say, oh, these things were all leading up to this, and that 4 years that you've been living through illness and problems is because, and accidents is because of this disease. The doctors didn't put it together. And I want people to put it together. Put it together. If you're not feeling well, put it together. I had been to physical therapy for vestibular therapy for my balance. I had been to balance therapy. I had been to, the ENT. I had been to the gastroenterologist. I had been to the orthopedist. I had been to, different doctors. And even though they're all in the same network, nobody put that information together. And that's why I said you need to advocate for yourself. And if you don't know the signs, you're also not going to know the signs. And if you can recognize it early enough that this may be a possibility, and they can do a simple DAT test to check your coma and see if you have any damage, then maybe you can start medicating earlier, and maybe you can prevent the symptoms from piling on and getting worse. And as fast as mine seemingly came fast and worse, but it wasn't that it was fast. It did take a period of 3 years before, a little over about 3.5 years, to find out that there was a problem. But had those things been put together. So you are your best doctor. There are millions and millions of us who see doctors every day, and there are only so many doctors to go around, and there's only so many medical staff, so many nurses. You know, they can do so much. They can't do everything. You know, we want them to, but you're one of how many people they're seeing every day, and their intentions are good or they wouldn't be there. You know, I really believe their intentions are good, but in some cases, we need to think about things for ourselves and look at our own health in that way. So I suggest staying on top of it. I never would have made the connection, nor is there any real information or anyone out there telling me to make that connection. And that's what this channel is for. So we'll get back to my sleep. And as I said, it has been going on for 2 years. So it's about 1.5 years. And it became before I knew about, oh, this is why. And so what happened, I was finding that I would lay down to go to bed, and I would fall asleep fairly quickly because I felt exhausted all the time. And I felt like I was exhausted all the time, probably because my stomach I always have ulcers. I always have in my stomach fighting these stomach issues. And I know that when you're healing, even, you know, when your body's trying to heal and it can't, or things happen, then you have, you get tired, you know, you need rest. So, you know, my kids, they would tell me, you just need to rest. You just need to rest. And I would say, yes, I need to rest. So I would just rest, you know, but always feeling guilty. But when I would sleep, when I would go to bed at night, I would sleep, and I see the clock. It was within 20 to 30 minutes of falling asleep. My body would have this feeling. I would all of a sudden feel like I was floating down or being dropped down onto the bed, and I would hit the bed. Like my whole body would, and I would have a big jerk. My body would jerk real hard. And then I couldn't really sleep well the rest of the night, where I would have periods of time that I would be asleep, but then I would be asleep and I would wake up kicking my legs, or I'd wake up rolling over to where I move around so much, my sheets would be off the bed. Now, I would always tease my son when he was little, because he would roll up like a burrito in his blankets, and his bed was always messy. But when I would get up, my bed was not messy like that. So I would tease him about what he does in his sleep. And I would notice that my bed is very messy when I sleep. I noticed that, and I noticed I was moving. I noticed I was so tired. all the time, and it just kept going. And then I started having very vivid dreams sometimes that were very, very weird, very scary dreams, at a point in time when I knew I wasn't allowed to drive anymore, even before I was diagnosed, when I was no longer allowed to drive because my balance and stuff. I dreamt my kids left me somewhere and told me to drive home. So they would be very weird, weird dreams. And then I started waking myself up talking. I would start talking, and still every night I fall asleep and I fall into the bed. Within 30 minutes of going to bed, I fall into the bed. If I take a nap, I have the same thing. I will fall in the bed. This is cement wall. I have a beautiful bedroom and stuff built in the basement, but I didn't care about sheetrocking the outside walls. So, but I've woke up with my leg up the wall, kicking the wall. I've woken up on the floor. I've woken up with myself sitting, but in a slumped over position, and I don't know why I'm sitting on the edge of the bed asleep. And the dreams are really vivid. So that dream part is something that is been very disruptive for me, because I feel already like I'm on a treadmill and I can never get off and I can never stop moving, and I'm not sleeping. I'm not getting to sleep, because when I'm asleep, I'm kicking, I'm moving, my body is contracting, my legs will contract, my stomach will contract, and it just is very annoying. My stomach recently did contracting in my trunk for about 4 days straight, and it felt like I had been doing literally hundreds and hundreds of sit-ups or some ab work or something, and because it just wouldn't stop, you know. So you're already tired from those things, but it goes on in my sleep too. And I had said a couple of videos back that the doctor had put me on 20 milligrams of melatonin, which, again, it was prescribed. It's not something I chose to do for myself. It is not something that I advise you to do for yourself. I don't advise anybody to do anything that they haven't discussed with their doctor first, outside of eating a healthier diet, you know, to help symptoms. But other than that, I don't advise anybody to do anything, because it's not my place to advise. I'm only sharing my personal experience with you. Now, for me, I had the doctor prescribed, and I picked it up from the pharmacist too, 20 milligrams of melatonin. And I've been taking it for the 2 weeks. And there is no change in my sleep. I still fall asleep. I still wake up falling through the air and hitting the bed within 20 to 30 minutes. And I'm sorry, I'm slobbering today. I still fall through the air and hit the bed in 20 to 30 minutes after I sleep. And I just, you know, I've talked, I've had bad dreams, I've been kicking. There is no rest and no help with the melatonin, which was a direction that I discussed with my doctor that I wanted to try everything I could try before going on other medications that he wanted me to go to, because that's very difficult for me. I have a concern about taking, controlled substances, and his advice was that I needed to try a low dose, and that we would just keep a very good eye, and that would help me to be able to sleep at night, and then take it during the day as well, so twice a day, and lower my muscle spasms and things. So today he prescribed it, but I'm not going to take it exactly the way he prescribed. I don't want to take twice a day. I'm only going to take this medication prior to bed. And let's see if just that sleep can help me have any improvement before I try to have it when I have to interact and try to do things in my life. Because one thing I don't want to be is I'm already limited by my body ability to do what it needs to do. I'm already limited with pain. I'm already limited with tremors and dropping stuff and having to take lots of breaks and sit down. I don't want to chemically limit myself as well, if that makes sense. I want to be as me as possible, and I want to be unaltered as possible in my brain. My brain's been altered enough. I mean, enough. It's made its way from Parkinson's, and with the Parkinson's, I have the REM sleep disturbances, with the cervical dystonia. I don't want to add more. I have some cognitive issues, especially when I'm tired, and especially if it is not something that I go over in my mind. Like, to make, for example, the video, I have to sit and think, this is what I want to say, so that I make sure I do it. I don't write a script. I just think about what I want to talk to you genuinely about and share with you. So that's something that has given me some apprehension today. I don't feel good about having to take medication that is of this kind. It's not something that I go for, I always try alternatives, but I have run out of alternatives. I've even had, I did smoke, and then I quit smoking, and then I smoke a nicotine-free cigarette. I don't feel nicotine, but I do like to have a cigarette. I don't care about the nicotine. But, if it makes me have a little bit more dopamine because I got some pleasure of having a cigarette a couple times a day, then I'm all for it. But I have switched to, I guess, still smoking, but it's nicotine-free. And I mix that tobacco at night with the chamomile. And because I have read, I'm not advising anybody to do it at all. Don't do it. But you mix it with chamomile, and I have tried that. I have tried the melatonin. You can do lavender. I'm allergic to lavender, so that totally leaves lavender out of the equation. So it's been a little hard today. I reached out to my siblings and, like, hey, do you know this drug? My sister shared that she had taken it on occasions. She didn't really like it. She was taking more than I am, and she doesn't take it now. And I don't know the reasons why she took it, but the fact that she could quit gives me hope that I don't have to take it for long. Maybe it's not a permanent solution in my life. I reached out to my niece, who's a nurse, and asked her about it again one more time. And she said it's very common with her patients with Parkinson's because it does benefit them. And don't worry, it will be all right. So I have them. They were supportive. You're supportive. You're supportive. I know people watching, I'm sure you're rooting for it to work and you want to know if it'll work. And I don't want to talk about what exactly the medication is. You can use your own imagination. If you are with having Parkinson's, you can ask your neurologist about it. It's very common. You can Google it. It's a very common medication for Parkinson's because it does help with jerking and things like that, which I've been doing a lot. But also my carbidopa levodopa, they raised it up. And since it was doing some good before, I'd rather not take the new medication during the day and let the carbidopa have a chance to do better in my system, if possible, so because it's not as, I guess to me it doesn't bother me as much to take it as the other one bothers me. So I don't know. Now that's where I'm at for my sleep. And if you are suffering with these disorders, if you have GI problems, balance issues, you drop things easy, your arm just decides to do whatever it wants to do, you're having sleep issues and these things, I would have a conversation with my doctor if I were you. If I could go back to me, 3 years ago, I would say, hey, you need to really double down on this. You need to ask them for X, Y, and Z test to take care of the issue, because maybe, we don't know. Maybe I could have medicated, diet, something. There might have been something that I could have slowed down where I'm at, and it wouldn't exasperated. And, if I can prevent someone else from being to a point where they're, for all intents and purposes, their life as they know it gets ended because of the tremors, and they can take a correction in the path, then that's what I want to happen. That's what I want is, you found it early. There's just not enough, there's no one saying it, and I want to say it, and I want you to ask your parents. You're grown, ask your parents. You can get this disease. It's not just for old people either, okay? You can have it in your 30s, 40s, 20s. It's not just for old people. And the people getting Parkinson's disease are younger and younger. And it's not just a tremor. And it's not just one disease. Your brain cells are oxidizing in your brain, and they're not sending receptacles and signals to the rest of your body. It's more than just a tremor. It affects everything, your GI system, your sleep, your dementia, Alzheimer's. It affects your, you stutter, you drool, you just can't know. And the pain of the never-ending body is real. It doesn't go away because it's always moving. So that is good information to share with anyone, go ask the doctors and be your advocate and say, hey, I have all these symptoms, and I saw this weird lady on YouTube saying she had the same thing, and then it was Parkinson's. So can you check me out and see if maybe that is also what's going on with me? You know, my grandpa had it, my mom had it. What you know, maybe you have a family member, but does it hurt to have another test? There are some simple tests they can do, even scans that can be done, that they can check what is going on. Anyways, that's my hope, that it will help somebody stop it before it gets started. Now, an update, because it's been 2 weeks since I've had Botox injected in my neck for my tremors. I had one on this muscle, because it is the lean-to muscles. You know, my head wants to lean. So I had one on this side in the muscle that allows swallowing, but I did not have it in the other side, because at 5 weeks, people have a tendency to not be able to swallow, and their head, or have a tendency, there is a side effect, not a tendency, a side effect can be that you don't swallow, or you can't swallow for a couple of weeks. So my neurologist tried to do that's just on one side, so hopefully if there was an issue, it wouldn't have to be on both sides, and I could continue to swallow and continue to eat and drink without medical intervention. And then the other part, I have another shot in the muscle in the back here, and I had 2 over here. Now, he started me with a low dose of 100 mils. He said it was a lower dose, and he'll raise it from there depending on how it goes. But he said that at the 5-week mark is when it kicks in, but that also can be at 5 weeks that I can't hold my head up, because the muscles won't allow me to hold my head up. They'll over relax. So that's something. I've got 3 weeks out. I'll keep you all updated, and if it happens, I will show you what it looks like. I will show you what my head does from it. And it doesn't happen to everyone. It's just a warning that it can happen. So it doesn't happen to everyone. How am I doing with the Botox? At this time, I haven't noticed any difference with the Botox injections. The past few days, I have felt like my tremor is more violent in my neck. So that's not helpful, but I have been stimulated. If you have Parkinson's and you do several things, like I got the chickens, we went out to dinner another day, and just going out and doing things, it can overstimulate, what I call overstimulate, but it's overstress and overexhaust your body, and you can tremor harder and have more effects. So that has been going on. And then the only thing I do notice that's been ongoing is the injection area on this side for the swallowing muscle has been the side that is still in pain, and I haven't seemed to be able to get rid of that pain the whole time. But it's a new, different kind of pain, almost like you slapped on your neck wrong, or you were in a little fender bender and wrenched your neck a little bit. It's that kind of pain. So, and that's been there since the shot. I mean, it's nothing I can't live with, but it's just something I'm noticing and sharing, so people are aware of what there is going on with that. So those are the things, and hopefully they're helpful to you. And my little win today, my big little win, besides my little normal pick up and make my bed and stuff, my little win today is doing the video. I felt like I had some accountability to get it done because I said I would get it done. So I made it a priority to do it when I thought, oh, I can wait till tomorrow. I'm a little tired. So that's a big little win. My other big little win is, I went on Poshmark today, where there is a seller named Nana, N-A-N-A, June Camp, and she has Parkinson's disease and was diagnosed at 41 years old. And she had a marathon live sale today that she put together for Parkinson's Awareness Month. And I was able to go and sit and be part of that in the, watch online and be part of that with her. For me, that was a little win, to reach out and be able to see somebody encouraging. She makes jewelry, and she sells her jewelry on Poshmark. So those are my little wins today. If you have Poshmark, look up Nana June Camp. She's a great lady, beautiful jewelry. Give her a look-see. She's awesome, and she's very encouraging, and I'm sure you will love I'm sure you will love the jewelry she makes. So, that's all for me today. I really appreciate everybody who comes on, listens, learns. If you have any questions, put it in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. If you have friends or family that is going through this, or you're going through it yourself, I'll try to help you with any questions that I can. Just ask your questions. Please hit the subscribe button so we can make the algorithm go. And like the video if you like it. And if you can share your video on your social, just to let people know it's here. I couldn't find help reaching out that I didn't really have to pay for. Sorry. But I couldn't find help that I have groups in my area, but you pay to participate. And I couldn't really find people, and maybe I didn't look hard enough, to hear their stories. So I wanted to be able to share. So had I known 4 years ago, had I known what was happening to my body, I would have changed everything. And that's what maybe we can do for you or your friend or loved one by this channel. But everybody have a wonderful day or night, whichever you are. Subscribe and like and share, please. And have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for taking time out of your life to spend time with mine.